witches, Luna here. Look at this. I sat down at my computer this morning ready to do my regular thing, and the sun came in and I went, oh hell no. I think I'd like to do a morning coffee unboxing. I toast you with my Java. And the other reason with the sun coming in is because the deck that I have to unbox today is the Klimt Tarot. And this is the pocket version, the pocket golden edition. Beware, I'm on a mini kick. Going for mini decks right now. And this one I've wanted for a while. Wait, you got to see this. Oh, come on. I was getting... There it is. There it is. Look. Oh. So, yeah, this deck is getting blessed as we speak. Oh, my goodness. All right, Play Baby, come back. It's in this beautiful little box. This is Scarabeo. And I remember like 10 years ago, the mini decks that were coming out were just in smaller tuck boxes, so those, very flimsy kind of boxes. And I purchased another mini that you'll be seeing soon, last week or so, and it was in a two-part, box that opens this way. This one opens this way. And I got very excited because they're just neat and complete. Anyway, this says 78 cards with instructions booklet, artwork by A. Atanassov. So I don't know that much about Klimt. I did not look him up. I do know that his most famous work is a thing called The Kiss, which is this. And so I am assuming that the artwork in this, because it's a tarot deck, and he did not create a tarot deck, they're taking elements of his art and working it into tarot format. One drink while the coffee's hot. So let's go in. We don't have a copyright date on the bottom. So look here, I've taken the plastic off outside and in. Too much work for that. And look at this little Klimt Tarot. Let me zoom you in. Okay, I guess that's good enough. Now we get to see how badly I need a new camera. All right. There's the deck, nothing inside, no surprises. But look at this. Oh my. I'm so sorry, you know what has to happen here. I guess that looks pretty standard. Now, we will see how badly my camera freaks out. Fortunately, the gilding that is also on the car, look at this. Look at this. And this is just the facing card from Scarabeo. Here's the back. And there's the Fool. Wow. So I do know that Klimt is very well known. Let's look in the book for a little bit of history. Look at this book, you guys. It's just, when you were a little kid, were you into miniature things? When I was a kid, there was a craze. The first miniature things craze came out of my generation anyway. And there were these dolls called Little Kittles. And they were like this big. And then all the little sets were coming out with the little... Yeah, okay. Legendary Vienna at the beginning of the 20th century, the glittering imperial city and flourishing scene of art and culture, is the setting in which Gustav Klimt worked, Baumgarten 1862 to Vienna in 1918. With his work, the artist succeeded in perpetually reviving the atmosphere of that magical epoch, the basis of our contemporary culture. Theater and operatic music were the arts and were most valued by the Austro-Hungarian court of the end of the 19th century, while painting and other figurative arts were not given their proper worth. That inevitably caused a certain amount of displeasure among painters, I guess. So in 1897, in protest, Klimt decided to leave the School of Arts and Crafts, oh God, here we go, the Künstlerhausgenossenschaft, the collective studio that he had been a member of since 1891. The other painters joined him, and with them he created the splinter group known as the Vienna Secession, which intended to revitalize the capital's artistic climate by promoting and circulating Austrian art at home and abroad. What's going on back there? Oh, it's you. It's you, Gibby. So here you see, I mean, how there were schools of art coming from, in the Renaissance, places where artists were supported, and there were conventions, and that's why we know all of these artists that broke those conventions and brought in the next thing, but they went in schools, and that can be an ideal situation for an artist. I just finished watching a documentary series on Andy Warhol. But, artists can feed off of each other. They inspire each other, and there can be a healthy competition when you see what someone's doing and interpret it in your own way, just like music, just like any of the other arts. So, okay, I digress. What united all of the secession artists was primarily downright rejection of the tradition. There we go. And in particular, the moralism that characterized previous generations. Of all the painters that glorified that artistic period, Klimt is the one who most indelibly left his mark on our imagination, because he succeeded in perfectly expressing the spirit of the bourgeois and aristocratic world of his time, transforming it into a dreamlike universe of magnificence and decadence. The works of his later years are the ones that leave most lasting impressions, the icons of a general cultural climate, works steeped in mystery like the huge mosaic-like paintings, the decorative portraits, landscapes, and gardens. Klimt can be considered, along with Kokoschka and Schiele, maybe, the initiator for the tradition of modern design, because he succeeded in combining pictorial techniques and purely graphical techniques. Yeah, see? This is a good introduction. And naturally understood through great sensitivity the potential of a predominance of decoration. He was, in fact, highly regarded as a decorator. His success, however, did not prevent him from being strongly criticized and even accused of pornography after he created the allegorical paintings on the ceilings of the University of Vienna. We'll be looking those up. It must be remembered that at the beginning of the 20th century, the public was not used to natural depictions of the male body. The male body. Sacrosanct. The representation... Wow, okay. This is how bad my eyes are and how, I don't know, calcified my brain is in a certain way. Was not used to natural depictions of the nude body, the representation of sensuality that violated customary aesthetic conventions by portraying old people, pregnant women, and fat people. In line with the idea of a modern free painter open to different influences like that, obviously, of Japanese xylographic art, always respectful of the style that leads back to the immediate figurative expression. All right, so his art inspired the Tarot. Every now and then a fundamental aspect of the artwork of the great Viennese artist emerges, and rather the revival of figurative and compositional aspects of Hellenic classicism, blah, blah, blah. The meanings of the upside-down cards are in italics. Okay, that didn't give us much information about the artist. Until my Sunday throat. Okay, back to the images. We see, yes, old age. So people were not used to being confronted with real life. And here's the Fool, very different than we're used to. Okay, let's see if the meanings are different. We're used to the Fool like this, and this one is the opposite in stature, crumpled in on himself and naked and vulnerable. They have lack of points of reference, loss of identity, confusion. I think that is this going to be a dark deck, you guys? The reverse says rebirth, stripping oneself completely, letting go of excess. Wow. That's certainly what is depicted in this card. So this could be a fabulous deck that is just an entity on its own. Here's the Magician. All right, so let's just go. I do know that he had this one model that he worked with very, very often. Can you see the gilding? Let's get a flare. Okay. Here is the High Priestess, seated with a book in her lap. I've got the gilding behind. I'm so tempted, I have to look now. Application, study, and learning is the High Priestess. And, you know, being a low Scarabeo book and being this tiny of a low Scarabeo book, you know that the meanings have to be very succinct. And that's why I'm kind of glad for that introduction. But yeah, you're certainly not going to get descriptions of cards. I don't know if, you know, the book has been minied. If the regular size, you know, of course, as soon as I looked at this deck, it's like, oh my God, I want the big one now. But I don't know if the book with the standard size deck has descriptions or not. Could, it might not. Here's the Empress. Look at her with a battle helmet on. And the Emperor. Here's the Hierophant, holding a staff. There's the famous one. There's the Lovers, of course. Isn't it beautiful? Here's another little piece of trivia. If you have seen the movie Bram Stoker's Dracula that was out, I believe, in the 80s or early 90s, some of the costuming ideas were drawn from this. There's an outfit at the very end of the movie, the very end, that Dracula is wearing that was drawn from the graphic design on that robe. Okay, and there is the Chariot. Oh, it's like, you know, she's just standing there, but look at this wheel. You see the front of the chariot and a wheel, and she's naked with a whip in her hand. Here I come. Here is Justice. Okay, so in this deck, Justice is 8, Strength is 11. Another little aside, I've been reading Rachel Pollack's 78 Degrees of Wisdom, and I am firmly on the side of Justice as 11. Though arguments can be made. So there's Justice with her scales and her sword pointing down. Here's the Hermit with the symbols. It's like he's looking down and in, but there's these symbols on maybe is it a curtain? I think it's a curtain, a veil before him. And here's the wheel. So you see the same face again and again and again in these works. And this hair that goes, whew. She was the original mushroom head. Remember that cut from the 80s? I was a mushroom head for a while. See, there's a mushroom head. Okay. And this is the Death card. That's not the Death card. What the hell? Is that I'm getting confused. Okay. The Hermit, the Wheel. Okay, that's why I'm getting confused, because this is Strength. I'm so used to seeing Justice here, sorry. And she's holding a severed head. So why would I have gone to Death? Gosh, I don't know. So this is the Strength card. And there's no lion there, but boy, whew, this is a dark deck. Let's see what they say. Spiritual energy, moral strength, and clear thinking. Yeah, I was thinking very clearly. I just lopped off her head. Oy, oy, oy. Here's the Hanged Man. I'm curious to know where she got that image because, is there something like that in his art? Okay. There's the Death card. Wow, so we see a mother and child here and death like over their shoulder. Let's see if we can get closer. Yeah, there's a white balance kind of becomes a problem with so much sunshine coming in. All right, here is Temperance. She's pouring liquid there into this cup. So, my old eyes, I'm thinking, here are decks that I didn't figure I'd ever be reading with on a regular basis, but I want them in the collection. It's cheap to get them as a mini, and I get it, and it's like, no, this is a dark deck, and I'm going to want to read with it and want the bigger images. But, maybe once my old eyes get used to them. And here's the Devil. Look at this creature. I'm looking at just a backdrop and it's like, what's that square over her head? Oh, it's the mouth of a beast. So there's the beast behind them, and then this woman manipulating these other women. Here we have the Tower. You see the people are like part of the tree trunk. Oh, Lordy Lord. There we go. All right, good enough. My camera's going, they're too small. All right. And here we have the star. Look at the stars above her head. Oh, you can't because they're shining so brightly. Then here's the moon. Ooh, that's beautiful. If I tip it this way just a little bit, you can see better. The sun. This beautiful, open, naked embrace. So I am really appreciating, that this is why he was shocking in his day, because he just chose to depict realistically the human body in its imperfection, unidealized, specifically unidealized. Here's Judgment. It's a skeleton. It's like people going upward, and then here's the world. Look at that. Wow. Okay, suits will go faster, I promise. Here are the cups first up. So we have the symbol of the cups, and we have the number on the top. It would be interesting to see like the range of his work, but these decorative elements are certainly the connecting factor in this deck design-wise, obviously, because it's his, but it's so strong, and the gilding makes it so beautiful. So there's the Two of Cups. Here's the 3. And you do have pips on the card. 4. 5. Look at that. Oh, is that a mask? I don't know. Okay, let's take a look at how they do the minors. All right. Chalices, they call them. Protection, transparent relationships, and letters. Wow. Protection. Totally different. Usually we're used to, loss, but something remains. Wow. Letters. Okay. Happy memories. There's the 8. Can you see the dragon? There. A Chinese dragon. So, yes, that's the 7. The 8. Here's the wish card. Oh my goodness. That's wonderful. And the 10, a happy family card. Look at the spectrum of color. There's the work so far has been pretty monochromatic. You will not win, camera. Never let the camera win. So, good enough. Here's the page. The knight. Oh, the gilding is just stunning. The queen and the king. And I don't remember when I first saw this deck like 10 years ago whether it was gilded or not. Here are the coins. Oh, look at that. Matte. Beautiful. 2. Rather than juggling, here's what she's juggling is the kids. She's got 2 to take care of. And the coins are all gilded. There's the 3 with a lyre playing music. I really appreciate when music is represented in a tarot deck because, come on. I mean, how can it be all about art and no music? There's the 4. Feeling very pulled in and insular. The 5. Naked outside, I guess. 6. Charity. So we do have some very traditional-ish depictions. There's the 7. The 8. Lots of pregnant bellies. So yeah, this would have been incredibly shocking. As shocking as an old woman. Rubens blew the fat woman taboo out, but okay, the 9 and the 10. There's the page. Oh, just beautiful. Just the gilding is stunning. Here's the knight that stands still, the queen. Oh, looking like a halo, and the king. Now we're in 2 wands. And let's see, we had chalices, we have pentacles, we have wands. I just wanted to see if they're calling it something else, and swords. Okay. So there's the Ace of Wands, the 2, 3, the magnifying glass in her hand, 4. Joy, celebration, the 5. Look at her arm at an odd angle. Huh, interesting. 6. Victory, she's holding a laurel. 7. Ooh, yeah. The 8. He liked very thin women as well, it seems. Here's the 9 of Wands. Look at that gilding. And the 10. Yeah. Go from 9 to the 10. Ugh. Okay. Page. Knight. Queen. And King. Oh. Now, I'm already getting very excited about the idea of shuffling this deck, you guys. Here's the Ace of Swords, the 2. Wow. Such a dynamic embrace. There's a lot that could be read from this. You know, I see a kind of a desperate affection there. I don't see a struggle, that's for sure. Let's see what they say. Okay, this is equilibrium, successful challenge, tests of strength. So they do mean it to be that they're grappling with each other, but it doesn't look that way to me. Here's the 3 of Swords, the 4, resting, 5. She's cheeky. 6, in a boat, the 7. So I'm not sure, you know, what that is depicting. Beautiful nonetheless. 8 of Swords. Ooh, is that ever descriptive. She is literally boxed in by these swords. There's the 9, yeah. And the 10, wow. The swords just predominate there. With looking like, is that a severed head? I mean, it's certainly a disembodied head. There's the page in full armor, the knight, the queen, and the king. Wow! That's amazing. Let me get a little charcoal out here. I did not do that, and I will zoom you out and see you in a second. All right, I'm back. Oh, but I didn't light the charcoal. It's always fun to watch, so. All right, we took off the facing card, and we'll do our little smoke cleanse before the test drive. I am so appreciative of you guys that come and hang out with me in the slow zone. The crone zone. Okay, and then let's have a little bit of ocean water to bless. Let's give it a little sound bath. I'm watching a series on Gaia channel about sound, and it's freaking amazing. Uh-oh. Oh, I can tell these are going to get edged in black because there's a little scuff on the side and it's kind of showing white. Hey, guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, thank you so much for being here with me today with this beautiful, beautiful deck. I am so fortunate to be able to indulge this friggin' habit of mine. I offer you fresh water, and I offer you the fire of Azrael to help this deck speak to me. Did that light? Goodness gracious, let's see. It sparked, but apparently it didn't continue. This tells me I need new charcoals. All right, come on. There we go. All right. Now, let's have a shuffle. Interesting to see how this will go because it's, see, they don't bend. And that's just going to be the way it is with mini decks, I'm sure. You know, they're just too small. And the cardstock feels like standard LS, you know, LS from the old days, cardstock LS, US Games Llewellyn. It was just the standard Tarot stock back in the day. Wish it were still. Okay, let me just do this to get them mixed, and then I will do a spread and pull. We'll cut, and we'll do a spread and pull. But we got to get them mixed to begin with. They say that doing 7 shuffles, 7 riffle shuffles, is the most randomized that a deck can be. All right. So, as ever, we're going to ask, and you know, I didn't look to see if there were spreads suggested in the book. And I will also say that the book has English, Italian, Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, and Russian. Okay, swords and spreads. The circle of faults and virtues. After the major and minor have been separated. Okay, so we're not doing that, obviously. Wow. So there is a spread here called the Circle of Faults and Virtues. You lay out 12 minors in the form of a circle, as shown in the picture on page 2. There it is. With one starting at the top. And then turn over a card from the majors and place it at the center. If the card is upright, proceed with the reading from right to left. If it's upside down, proceed with the reading in a clockwise direction from left to right. The reading is carried out in 3 distinct steps. The first step, the first 4 cards of the circle and the 1 card from the deck of the major will be placed at the center. Oh, okay, the major and the center are turned over. And that's the current situation. And then if the major determines what meanings are read. If the major arcanum card is turned over upright, the positive meanings of the 4 minors are emphasized. Otherwise, negative is emphasized. Proceed in the same way. The second group of 4 represents the job situation, and the last 4 is the emotional. So the current situation, the job situation, and the emotional. Interesting. Very interesting. But we are going to choose 3 and ask how we may move in this day, in this moment, from a sense of just surviving into thriving, which includes our full creative expression. What does thriving mean? So that's a good exercise for everybody to do. Is here's what thriving looks like to me. Okay, let's do a spread. That was satisfying. All right. What do we need to do? Okay, they want me to come here. Straight ahead, they said. And way over here. Okay. Ooh, they're just so nice. After, big chunky decks. I don't like big chunky decks. All right. I should say I don't like big chunky cards. There are a lot of decks that are big and chunky that are fabulous decks, but I don't like the cards. Okay. So we have the 4 of Swords. Rest. We have the 7 of Wands. Ooh. And I'm looking at you know what this is? This is Theseus and the Minotaur. That's a frickin' Minotaur, you guys. Come here. Oh, please, fairies. Hey, Odor Crowd. I guess you can see enough of it there. Good gravy. All right. And then we have Temperance. Okay, so just off intuition alone, we need to strike the balance between the resting and the going whole hog and find more of the middle way here. This can talk about, not just resting, but being yanked out of the situation, exhausted. And this certainly shows somebody going at something to the death, right? Temperance says we need to temper the extremes. Let's look up. I mean, that's pretty succinct. So the really big value of a tiny deck like this is you could ask a question, and when the images are so evocative and give you a very plain, succinct answer, you can keep going, and keep exploring the question more in depth and pulling more and more and more cards and letting them tell their story. Okay. 4 of Swords. Mystical discoveries, new outlooks, serenity, ability to analyze, and the very last one is rest. Now, if this were reversed, it says sleep, long waits, isolation, and misanthropy. All right. So, new outlooks, serenity, mystical discoveries. So this brings in a whole new thing. This is talking about what we need to do is take the inner time to reset, to discover, to explore our inner landscape, really, explore our own consciousness, because that's where we connect with the everything. And gain new outlooks. And then the 7 of Wands. decisive challenge, profitable alliances, moral strength. Moral strength. So I guess, if we want to take the view, hold on, I need a warmer. If we want to take the view that this Minotaur represents the so-called beast, then we are certainly taking, I guess that's the moral part. I'm kind of detesting that word lately, but it's talking about, maybe slaying the demons, slaying the beast, decisive challenge, profitable alliances. So what we should do here, and if it were reversed, anxiety, embarrassment, confusion, and dangerous temptations. Interesting. So upright, though, it's saying taking decisive action against something, challenging something. So we're going into the inner landscape, and then we are challenging, perhaps while we're there, this is a night sky behind them, we're going to challenge the things that we find there, our inner demons, the things that need to be challenged. I mean, there's this whole other slant that I could go talking about, but I'm not going to. All right. And then temperance, of course, is moderation, ability to analyze. This one also had the ability to analyze. Wisdom, serenity. This one also had serenity. So, bracketing this moral struggle and this going at things with the idea we're going to slay our beasts. I think here's the big message here, because I look at what's bracketing, even color-wise. Daytime, daytime, nighttime. Although there's night sky there. At any rate, serenity, the ability to analyze, and they're both kind of, look at their heads, sort of both inclined towards this card. So we really need to look at what we are struggling with internally. And I'm thinking through analysis and serenity is where we tame that beast, rather than out and out slaying my demons, like the Tibetans say, feed your demons, feed them. They represent a need, a need that is so deep in the psyche that it just can't be mollified. And so when we feed our demons, we go and find out what they are lacking, what's causing them to manifest in this way. And when we give them what they need, we can integrate. Let's say we can integrate. So, and temperance certainly is a card of integration as well. This could also talk about this analytical side and the more bestial side, integrating. Lots of information here. Lots and lots of information in 3 little cards. I am a big fan. I thought, I literally said, this isn't a deck that I ever really see myself reading from. It's a fine art deck. I just want to get it and but damn. Luna's wrong again. I am so happy that you spent this time with me. I hope that there's going to be a live super soon. Super soon. And that you will be there with me. I've really enjoyed. I love getting surprised by a deck. I love it when I see a deck and I don't go and look for somebody else's flip through or review, and I have an opinion, and this goes for not decks as well. I kind of love it when I have an opinion about something and I get surprised out of that opinion, because that opinion's usually a negative one. And then, something shows itself to you and it's just freaking awesome. So again, thank you for hanging out with me on this beautiful morning and having coffee and all that stuff. And I will see you next time when I do. In the meantime, if you really like this and you're not yet subscribed, get on it and hit the like, share it so people, more people can see what I do. And there's a wish list below that now has a whole bunch of mini decks on it, which are cheap. And if you want to buy me one of those, I will read for you on my unboxing video. You can put a question in your note even. I will read for you. All right. Thanks, you guys. I'll see you next time. This is Luna. Blessed be.